All right, so let's get into it, because if you haven't noticed, ladies and gentlemen, the legacy media has been working overtime, double time, since the shooting of Alex Pretti in what looks like an effort to spin the narrative. For example, using AI-enhanced images to make him look more attractive and repeating the same talking points over and over, that he was just an innocent observer, peaceful protesting, before violent federal agents killed him in cold blood. Right? But now new footage has surfaced that complicates that entire narrative, and it directly contradicts what they've been trying to sell the public. As always, smash that thumbs up button. That's how I know you like the video. Subscribe to stay locked in with more content, and share the video. That way more people see what's really going on. Let's get into it.
They chose to, they killed the wrong guy, right? Because this is like the perfect guy. Alex Pretti is the guy you would want to date your daughter. The guy you would want your son to grow up to be, a decent human being who was serving humanity, serving sick veterans, who is, there is nothing that has been said about that man that isn't wonderful. And so they can't malign him. They can't malign him because we have the videos.
Sources now tell CNN that federal immigration officers have been collecting personal information about the people they call protesters and agitators in Minneapolis. That includes Alex Pretti before he was shot and killed by agents on Saturday. Apparently because Pretti had been involved in an earlier altercation after observing ICE agents, as he told a source, chase a family on foot. Pretti shouted and began blowing his whistle. And that's when, he says, or said, 5 agents tackled him and one leaned on his back, leaving him with a broken rib. The source tells CNN that day he thought he was going to die.
And so you just heard right there, Anna Navarro, CNN, she telling you that Alex Pretti was the perfect guy, that you want your daughter to date him. You want your son to be him. You got CNN, Jake Tapper, going on, describing the first altercation that he had with ICE as just blowing a whistle. And he argued he wasn't an agitator for doing that. And so lo and behold, with the breaking news, ladies and gentlemen, that the BBC confirms a new viral video seeming to show Alex Pretti kicking the agent's car on January 13th, 11 days before he was shot by Border Patrol agents. And so let's get into this video, because it's going viral right now, because it's basically destroying the narrative and the talking points that the mainstream media, that Democrats, that the left have been constantly pushing about this entire situation. But let's take a look.
This is a moment the news movement filmed on January 13th in Minneapolis, showing a man who appears to be Alex Pretti interacting with federal immigration agents 11 days before Border Patrol shot and killed him. Our footage was analyzed by the BBC, whose facial recognition technology confirmed his identity to a 97% degree of accuracy. On the morning of January 13th, our team received a tip that federal agents were blocking a street at the corner of East 36 and Park Avenue in Minneapolis. We arrived around 10:15 a.m. We saw observers shouting at the agents as they walked back to their vehicles. When they started driving away, the man kicked their taillight. An agent then got out of the vehicle, grabbed him, and pushed him to the ground. During the altercation, agents fired tear gas and pepper balls into the crowd. They continued to hold the man down before they retreat and he walks away. The man in our footage is wearing a similar outfit to what Pretti was wearing on the day he was killed. What appears to be a gun is also visible above his waistband.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is not normal. People don't blatantly attack law enforcement, disregard the law, put themselves in deadly circumstances, and then we're supposed to pretend that this is normal behavior. That kind of conduct used to be reserved for the most dangerous elements in society. But when politicians walk around safely, pouring gasoline on the fire, refusing to draw a hard line between what's allowed and what will get you locked up, or worse, shot, this is exactly what you end up with. And for a lot of these people out there, they already didn't like the Trump administration. And so when you give them a reason, when you put a battery in their back, any reason, they're going to take it and run with it. And that's what we're seeing right now in these Democrat-run cities. And at the end of the day, Democrats, they aren't trying to calm things down or restore order. They're using this chaos as political leverage. That's all it is. All you're doing when you decide to show up, ladies and gentlemen, and you can see in this image right here, you show up agitating, protesting, whatever you want to call it. You show up being the aggressor with federal law enforcement officers, and you got a pistol on you. All you're doing is putting yourself in a dangerous circumstance that could end deadly for you. You rolling the dice with your life. There's this thing called self-preservation that seems to just escape these people who are going out doing this sort of thing. Now, did he deserve to lose his life? No. But when you repeatedly put yourself in situations where danger is present, dangerous things can happen. And oftentimes they do, especially when you're the one initiating the confrontation. Now, let's see how things get spun as Democrats are already showing up to his candlelight vigil. Take a listen. And so you seen and you heard that. And let's be honest about what comes next. You seen they're holding the vigils. They're going to push the vigils out in media. And they're going to pass the hat for donations, all in the name of justice. But what this really is political theater. Alex Pretti is being turned into the next political prop, used to generate outrage, sympathy, and ultimately political capital. We've seen this playbook before. And here's the part they never want to answer. Why isn't this same energy shown for any of the women whose lives were taken by illegal migrants? You already know the answer, because it's not about the justice for victims. It's about what fits their narrative. They don't want consistency. They don't want accountability. They just want leverage. And at the end of the day, this isn't about honoring victims. It's about advancing their own self-interest. And so now, Attorney General Pam Bondi announced Minnesota arrest. I am on the ground in Minneapolis today. Federal agents have arrested 16 Minneapolis rioters for allegedly assaulting federal law enforcement. People who have been resisting and impeding our federal law enforcement agents. We expect more arrests to come. I've said it before, and I'll say it again. Nothing will stop President Trump and this Department of Justice from enforcing the law. These are the names of those arrested today under 18 U.S. Code 111, assaulting, resisting, or impeding certain officers or employees. And then you see the list of names. And so this is what needs to happen, because actions have to have consequences, or else chaos will seize the day. And so you see the arrest, multiple, the faces. And this one right here, a familiar face. This is the bananas and rice lady who seemingly not too long ago had a confrontation with ICE where she was arrested for assaulting a federal law enforcement officer. And so back at it again, if you remember this.
So I'm Somali. I'm proud to be Somali. To me, being Somali isn't just eating bananas with rice. It's a lot. It's like it's an interesting thing. It's very hard to describe what it means to be Somali and what it means to be American, but it's like a cultural fusion. It's kind of like the bananas and rice. You know, people don't really see, like, you know, it's you know, people don't think, oh, you can eat bananas with rice, but that's what it's like to be Somali and American. It's like that combination of banana and rice, but you're gonna get what I mean.
And so, ladies and gentlemen, it's good to see that, because you cannot allow, as Scott Jennings says here, you cannot allow the angry mob to run federal law enforcement out of town. What do you think will happen in LA, Portland, Chicago? We are a nation of laws, not mobs. And that's very much true, because if it could happen on this end, imagine how Democrats, imagine how liberals will be reacting if the roles were reversed. Suddenly that angry mob doesn't want to be tolerated if it was a right-leaning angry mob versus a leftist angry mob. But let's listen to Scott Jennings. Take a listen.
I would just caution all these people. You cannot let an angry mob nullify federal law in a jurisdiction. If they do that,
you mean the American people?
Is
that what the angry mob is? The American people?
These people in Minneapolis are an angry mob, whether you like it or not. They don't like the fact that the president is enforcing long-standing federal immigration law.
Does that mean they should be shot on the street, Scott?
No,
that's the question that we're talking about, right?
The debate is about what the president's going to do next. And if you were to let them win and you were to be run out of town, what do you think would happen in L.A., Chicago, New York, all over the country?
So you don't think what happened to Alex Pretti was problematic? I mean,
do I think it's problematic? Of course it's problematic.
Okay, was it wrong?
Anytime someone dies, it's problematic. But what they're asking for is for federal law enforcement to be sent out of town.
Is it wrong?
And that no federal laws be enforced.
Wrong?
Was what happened to Alex Pretti on the street wrong?
Was it wrong?
Was it wrong?
I'm waiting for an investigation, which I fully support. I don't know what the circumstances were.
If
I
it
don't
was a
like
Democratic president in the White House, would you be able to say it was wrong?
Would I want an investigation? Would I want Of course I would. I don't like that people have died. I don't like this chaos. But I also don't like the idea that we're just going to say, well, in this one little territory, we're not going to enforce federal laws anymore. That doesn't strike me as a good idea for the president right now. So he's got a tricky situation. It's very complex, but being run out of town by an angry mob to me is not an option.
And so you seen and you heard that. And listen, everything that they're talking about as far as would he feel the same way if it was a Democrat in office? Once again, you could say the same thing. What if it was a right-leaning protest? What if it was a right-wing extremist that was killed? Wonder how the media will be portraying it then if the roles were reversed and things look a little bit differently. But I think we know the answer to that. As always, smash the thumbs up button. That's how I know you like the video. Subscribe to the channel for more. Share the video. That way more people see what's really going on. Until next time.